Hey guys, Kevin here, and today I wanted to show you a little weekend project that I worked on where I basically, in about 2 hours, went through and coded from start to finish an alternative to an app that I really like but has a few flaws, and I wanted to customize it and make a few changes. And so the app that I'm working on is basically similar to RepoPrompt. Okay, I've been talking about RepoPrompt. I'm one of these guys. I'm a paste maxer, right? Like I grab all the code from my code base, I paste it into ChatGPT, and I ask a bunch of questions. Now, there's lots of reasons why I do that, but I know a lot of other people do that too. It's a really nice technique to be able to use very smart models with very large context windows, to be able to get an initial overview of an app or to get some step-by-step instructions from say, O1 Pro or something like that. So lots of good reasons for that. And I will say, RepoPrompt, very nice tool. And RepoPrompt has a ton of features in it. You know, it's a full-on AI coding app. Teams are working really hard on it. I really appreciate and really like everything that they've been doing. There are a couple main things I don't like. Number one, it's Mac only. And so, guys, I'm often telling you guys, oh yeah, use RepoPrompt, and then like half the people in the chat are like, hey, I can't. It's Mac only, and it's like, sorry. It's not released yet. They were on test flight, and I think they ran out of invites, so it's been really kind of hard to get. And then the other thing is it's closed source. Okay, when you're putting all your code into something that small, there's nothing malicious going on here. I'm not accusing them of anything, but just in general, I just feel like for a tool like this, open source is the way to go. And so that's kind of what I wanted to do. Open source version that just takes the one feature of this very nice, robust app and does it in a way that improves on it for some of the things that I like. Okay, so not only am I going to show this, I want to walk through the step-by-step process I took from start to finish to actually build this. I don't want to make this a 2-hour video, so I'm not going to go through and show you all of the things. I do that plenty. But for this, I really wanted to more give an overview of kind of the 5 basic steps that I take when I'm going from start to finish from an app. I've shown you guys a lot of demo things, a lot of like bits and pieces of things. Today, I want to show you end to end how you can go from start to finish and actually get an actual working app that you can share. And again, this is all open source. It's all on my, I'll send a link to the GitHub repo with all these prompts, all these instructions. It's a great exercise to follow along. So think about an app or something that you use where it's just like, you think you could kind of make it better or do it personal just for you, and give it a try. Let me know what you guys think. Okay, so to start, I kind of have this series of prompts that I normally use when I'm doing my speccing. So we're in the speccing phase here, right? We're going to figure out what it is that we want to build, and the end goal here is to get a really comprehensive picture up front of all the details, all the corner cases, everything. Make sure that the AI and I are on the same page. And then at the very end of that, the goal is to get this checklist, right? Checklist, markdown checklist, so that the AI can go through and cursor can just check. Nice, concise stories. Everything works. It's on Rails. It's great. Okay. This is a very, very nice technique. Hopefully you guys have tried this. I'm going to keep banging you over the head on this because this is a technique that I use. It works great. And really want you guys to try this out because there's really no magic here, no special skills. It's just using a couple prompts, hitting go, and let the AI do the work for you. Okay. So, and again, I won't go through these necessarily, but just a high level overview. What we're doing here is we have a prompt to go from, these are standard product management techniques. You have a business requirements doc, which then you turn into a product requirement doc. So business is more high level, what the thing is, why it's built. Product is more about what you're building. And then I want to break it down into the step-by-step actual dev tasks in terms of stories and tasks, okay? Epics, right? All that stuff, right? This is all kind of basic PM 101. So, one way that you can really supercharge your prompts, and especially if you're using a thinking model or a more advanced model, is you want to give it stuff to chew on, okay? You don't want to just say, give me a BRD, okay? You can do that, you'll get something back. But if you really want to take it to the next level, what you can do is basically say, This is an example of enhanced prompts. So this is the prompt that I used to create these prompts. It's very meta, right? And so basically, here's kind of a, you want to break it down with a bunch of different analytical frameworks that are kind of industry standard, and then be able to just kind of put your prompts in there. So for the BRD, okay, senior product manager, you're going to create a BRD. Always start with what you're doing. We're going to put our specs in here. This is a prompt, a template. You can just paste in here. And then instead of saying build this BRD, you want to follow these steps, right? A RACI matrix, a value proposition canvas. Guys, do I know what these things are? Kind of, not really. A Moscow, I know a SWOT. But again, the whole point is do all this standard stuff. And then at the end, you're going to get a much, much better final result because the LLM has all the context and it's in the right latent space and it's able to just like go, okay? Prompt engineering, like this is such an important thing. And this is a really, you can use this technique for lots of stuff. And one of the keys here is like, I'm not a product manager expert, right? Use the LLM who knows all of these crazy things and let them do the work for you, okay? You don't need to know it all. You want to review it, make sure it's not totally off the rails. But honestly, at this point, if you're asking the right things, the chance of like a very modern LLM just going totally crazy and giving you some total BS, very low, okay? So use it. Don't just give it, okay? Okay, same thing for PRDs, blah, 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 blah. I think we talked about this in one of the other things, the gherkin. Love the gherkin. And then we kind of go through and we're really breaking it down into our stories, okay? So 3 steps. This can take a little while if you're using O1 Pro. That's okay. And then at the very end, here's my go-to prompt. I just made it easy to copy here. Whatever. Just to kind of get this into the prompt, I wanted you guys to have all of these in one place. So you guys come here. I've shared this link. It'll be in the description. It's all over the place I think it's in the README for my next AI starter. Use this. It works, okay? That being said, I didn't use this for this project, okay? I did something slightly different, which is also a different technique. I've shown you guys this technique before. It works great. This is a different technique, which is, in this case, I actually wanted to do a video walkthrough of exactly the thing that I wanted built. In this case, I had an example of an existing app, and I wanted to just kind of highlight some of the features here. Okay, so I just turned on this is so meta because I'm screen.studioing my screen.studio. Great tool, by the way. I've had people ask me this. Where is it? Oh, it's not showing up. Anyway, screen.studio is what I use. Fantastic. Please buy it, support that. Indie dev, awesome. So here we are, and I'm basically just going through the one feature that I use, which is like simply, I just select, you can sort tokens from high to low. Here's one thing I really don't like about RepoPrompt is they have it in folders, and so you don't know if what's on top is actually your highest token or not. You might have to dig through a bunch of folders. It's kind of annoying, So anyway, this is just the one little piece I want. The point is I want to go through here and show all the features to this video, through this video in a nice, concise way. And the idea is that Gemini has a really nice, Gemini's grown on me here, guys. I love it. For this purpose specifically is you put in a video and then you can ask questions. Okay, I'm gonna kill this here. But it's not very long. This is kind of a short video. Little trick here. If you guys ever read my description of my YouTube videos, all I do is I output my, my transcript. I upload it here, ask it to create some like over-the-top IP YouTube video description. And then I get through, I need to kind of clean it up a little bit. But it's really good for audio and video in. And so again, just gave some very basic bit of information. I also want to say a few of the features that I want to improve. Okay, so I mentioned I don't want to show the groups. I want to show all the lists. Blah blah blah. Notice the output length here is actually a little bit small, and so notice that I say right here, make it as long as possible, and if needed, you can stop halfway through. Okay, little prompt trick for Gemini to be able to basically double or triple the actual output window. Because if you don't do that, what's going to happen is it's going to try to like squeeze it all in, and you're going to get these very high level things. I want detail. Okay, so detail, detail, detail. It goes through, it's creating these stories. And notice this is fairly high level, right? we will stop here. Type continue. Thank you. I love it. Gemini. Good job. This is Gemini Pro. I think this isn't, I forget the name of it. Experimental 2.5. They're all pretty good. This one I just lean towards. Anyway, so I got all that stuff. And then what I did, again, I'll share all these. I basically just copied this. You can see here, this is what it starts with. Okay, I reviewed the video. I didn't even bother to remove that. Whatever. You throw your stuff in here. These models are smart. They'll work around your dumbassery. So don't worry about it. Okay, so what I did, again, very simple. Put all that stuff in there. And then went back to this, copied this, create a very, very detailed markdown checklist of all the stories for the project plan. Magic words here, guys. Magic words. This is great. And when you do that, you get a checklist. And your checklist is going to be full of a bunch of stuff that the AI is going to do for you. And you're going to sit back and you're just going to watch and marvel at the genius of AI. Okay? Well, that's what I do. You can go get a coffee. You do whatever you want. But for me, I do all this. I copy. And then, okay, so in this case, because it's a new project, normally I do like at my next JS starter. And that's a great way to start off for a website. But this isn't a website. This is a desktop app. And guys, I'll tell you, this is actually the first time is it the first time? One of the first times I've ever actually written like a real Electron desktop app. I don't know the first thing about Electron. I know it takes up a lot of memory. I know that it's cross-platform, and I know it's probably the right way to do an app like this. But other than that, again, I'm leaning on the LLM, and I'm leaning on the fact that I can learn this so quickly. Remember, I built this whole thing in 2 hours. I'll show it to you. It works, and probably I would say about half that time was like trying to make a logo or something that was very janky, or coming up with a name, or like just fiddling with some stuff. The actual app itself is fairly straightforward, and the LLM just knows how to do Electron. It's a popular thing, and so I'm just leaning on this thing and letting it go. Okay, so I literally started with a blank slate. The one thing I did put in was I put in a single file, cursor tasks.md. You guys have seen this a million times. I pasted in here. And then I also use, again, the same prompt. You guys can find this on the Next.js repo README. I think I put it in there the other day. But very simple. You can type this yourself. It's not that hard. Go through each story and find the next story to work on. I say that because then I can just copy and paste the same one instead of saying the first, second, third, whatever. Just copy, paste, make it easy. Review the unfinished tasks, ask for any clarifications. Normally it doesn't. Proceed to create all these things. And just keep going, run all these builds, run all these things. And then now keep going through each task. And when you're done with each tasks, stop at the end of the story. So you've got your stories and then the tasks. So it's just groups of things to do. And then when it's done there, stop and wait for me to review. Now, the trick there is I want to actually reset that context window and repaste this in here every time so it doesn't get too long. Now, the reality is, I'm using Sonnet 3.7, which, oh boy, this model is a beast. But also, it wants to do a lot of stuff, and it'll want to just keep going, right? And so I'm going to let it go and do its thing often. But after a while, I will stop it and reset. And that's a good best practice here. Okay. So I'm not going to go through all of this, but just to look at kind of what it did some thinking. It's like, this user is such a dummy. I can't believe he doesn't know how to do this. But I guess I'll do it for him. There we go. There's my thing. Whatever it's thinking behind the scenes. So it's looking at this. It's starting with all these things. And look at this. I mean, it's starting from literally scratch, right? We're initializing this repository. We're installing Electron, okay? We're creating the main file. So this started from a zero, like absolute blank page, and it just started going and going and going. And this is where, Sonnet 3.7 is really, really good. The more I've been playing with it over the past week, it's a powerhouse. And I've actually started building a little bit differently with it compared to what I was doing before with Sonnet 3.5. Sonnet 3.5, I was doing a lot of hand-holding. I was treating it like a junior dev, and I am kind of feeding it one by one things to do. 3.7 is more like a mid-level or even more of a senior dev. I'll say mid-level dev. It still makes lots of mistakes. It's not perfect. You got to watch it real carefully. But it does know a lot of like how to build software, and if you let it go, If you're not careful, it'll go off and do a bunch of stuff that you don't want it to do if you have a specific thing. And in this case, we went through, we created all these checklists, and this is a great way to keep it on task. You're going through, you're doing exactly these things. It will follow your directions really well, and it will just go through that list. Okay. And this was a great way to kind of get started with some basic functionality. Now I got this thing up here. Okay. And that was kind of step 2. So we had a spec was our step 1. Basic functionality was step 2. Step 3 was design. Okay. So this is a place where I started to lean in on Sonnet's ability to just go and do stuff. Okay. And so I wonder if I can, here we go. Let's try this. Okay. I think this is where I did it. Okay. Yeah. So after we did all that stuff, here's what I said. That's working technically, but the layout was messed up. Do I have the screenshot? Actually, I wish I had that. Image stuff. Okay, it's good. Anyway, I wish I could show you what it was, but it's like it was kind of working, but it was like very janky and it looked terrible. Okay, so I kind of explained what was wrong, but mostly I give this image in here, and look what I did here. I said, clean it up. I said what was wrong. I didn't say what to go and do, but I said clean it up. And what I want to do, start off, like, don't do a bunch of colors. You let it do colors, it's going to give you kind of a generic-y looking thing, a tailwind. Not bad, but I wanted this to be a little bit different. So I want to start off with just the black and white, the UX. Okay, we're not doing design, we're doing UX. Okay, so look and feel only. And one thing I did here, and this is a really great trick to use, is I created this rubric. And you may have seen this before. I think in one of my other videos I shared, I think in the design video I did a few weeks ago, I shared this rubric. But basically what you do is you go to O1 and you say, give me a rubric for like expert level UX design, and give me 7 or 8 different categories, rank them from A to F. Okay. And then again, kind of going back to what I was saying very earlier in this video of you want to give those thinking models something to chew on. Just make it think more. The more it thinks, the better you're going to get. This gives it a ton to think on, okay? I've found this technique works fantastic. This is not a well-known technique. So if you guys have been watching for the, 16, 17 minutes of me rambling here, you get to this point, this is your Easter egg. This is your takeaway from this video. If anything else, use rubrics for thinking models. This is an incredibly powerful tool. I've been using this for some internal stuff, but I'm giving away some alpha here. Use this. It works really well. Okay. Okay. So in this case, I'm using it as a UX, and I basically just said, use these best practices. We'll worry about the design later. Just make it look good. Okay. Make it look good. Give me a critique of what you think is wrong with it, and you use your best instincts to make it look good. Okay. I'm not telling it what to do. I'm telling it how to go about doing, and I'm letting it run free. Yeah, I saw a great tweet. I think it was Matt Schumer, I think on Twitter, had a phrase. So, vibe coding, we're doing vibe coding, and great phrase. I love that of what I do. I mean, that's perfect encapsulation of what these videos are. He had the phrase chaos coding, which is basically you give in to the LLM. You take your hands off the wheel and you say, look, you're smart. You know what you're doing. Go do something. And I'll come back and check it out, but I'm not going to be forcing you to do a certain thing. We're going to just lean into some chaos coding here, and that's what we did for this design, okay? So went through and we basically just let it go. It's critiquing it. It's giving a plan for a layout. Changed all my colors back from like the generic whites and blues and all this stuff. And notice how it did a nice job of just like primary, secondary. So we're not calling these out as like red, green, blue, black. This lets you first lay out your video or your screenshot so you can just get the basic layout and the contrast. This is the word I was looking for. Contrast set up correctly. And then when you're done with that, it'll make it so much easier to just lightly add in a layer of color. But by that point, it should just be a coat of paint. It shouldn't be a whole redesign, okay? And there's something interesting that came out of this. So anyway, it went through, it did all this, it did a whole bunch of stuff. And I'll just show you guys what it did. So here's a look at the app itself. Here we go. Like Pastemax. I call myself a Pastemaxer because anybody who's like grabbing a ton of stuff and pasting it into ChatGPT, I don't know. This is my own inside joke, but we'd have that. Okay, so you first come in here. You can select a folder. Oh, what's this? Forks CLI. That looks interesting. I wonder if that's an open source coding app that I'm working on, and I'm going to show you guys in a little bit. Maybe. Stay tuned for this. But anyway, so here you go. So you can see this. So first things first, notice it's all in black and white, but also notice, like I have to say, there's something about this design that's quite nice. The spacing is really nice. The font sizes are nice. The way that the contrast and we got slightly light colors here. We call these out. Little bits of kind of movement there. Just everything about this just feels really clean and nice from a UX perspective. And then this big call to action down here. And I gotta say, guys, I don't know about you. I'm kind of digging this black and white theme. I'm kind of digging it. It's got this like notion, like kind of this linear, like a little bit of like this kind of postmodern, like I don't know what you call this. I was going to go through and give it a coat of paint. I'm going to have you guys vote in the comments. If you like this black and white, this like kind of like suit and tie kind of look here, give me a vote. We'll do that. If you want me to go color crazy and like blast it, I'm a color guy. I love bright colors. I love just going nuts with color. So we can do some fun stuff here on the design side. But honestly, I kind of like this. I think it's kind of clean and nice. But anyway, so let me know what you guys think. But we can do that. Okay, so anyway, while I'm here, let me just show you. I'll skip ahead. So after that design phase, did just some cleanup stuff. And that's more of a little bit of that leaning in on that chaos coding of just saying, hey, here's a problem I have. Just go fix it. And it would just boop, 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 fix, fix. I'm just checking it. And just, again, not telling it what to do, but telling it what's wrong or what I want fixed. And it's doing it. Okay. And honestly, I think it turned out really nice. This is a tool I'm totally going to use. It's got a lot of really neat features in here that are kind of subtle. But for the most part, it does exactly what I want. Okay. This is a smaller folder here, so we've got all these. But what do I want to do? I can select and copy just a single file if I want. I can remove any files that I don't want. You can see those over here. If I want to add them back in, if I want to collapse. This is the feature set I want, right? Add, remove. I just like this. It's simple. It does exactly what I want. We have all the information I need here. You can quickly sort if you want. Very fast. Everything just works. If you want to sort on, here's all my anything that's there. We automatically, so we're looking at your git ignore file. So anything that's in git ignore automatically gets ignored. We're also ignoring any kind of large like binaries. Oftentimes I find like icons or SVGs or whatever. I have a kind of a list of all of the file types that I just automatically just don't want selected by default. So we're just getting rid of all those. So honestly, like I think this is kind of a nice little tool and maybe even slightly improved from some of the other tools that are out there. And of course we can build more stuff in here. But for the most part, and I'll look at a bigger thing here. Let's see what's a bigger project. I'll look at my platform, but this is my internal project. You guys can see this. So we're scanning. Okay. Hopefully it's not going to break on me. Oh, I know what it's doing. It's searching here. So let's clear the search. But here we go. So we got all this stuff. Oh boy, this is a big one. I'm in the background. I'm doing this project thing where I'm enriching. But this is good. So I can see the big ones there instantly, right? We're still pretty big on our sizes here. And so you can start to go through here and start to pull out stuff like, okay, I don't really need any of these sequels. I could get rid of some of these. Notice how it stays in one place. You can just quickly click, little things like that. Anyway, this is my tool. Hope you guys think it's interesting. And then, of course, when you're done, you can copy. You can paste this in here. That's a lot. Probably too much. But you can see here, we basically, this is just basic paste max and stuff. So that's what we have. Okay. So, again, pretty straightforward. You guys can check this out. It is available up here. Here we go, Killingway Basemax. I was just about to put up a new release. I put a little, probably spend more time just making like the dumb logo than anything else, which is annoying. But that'll be up here. You guys can check out this this code. But I think it's a good example of kind of a code base from 0 to 1, just kind of building something out that meets your own needs. And I would encourage you guys to try this out. Think about a tool that you use every day. Not something that's kind of straightforward, but maybe not like a hello world kind of application, and just try to build it. See how far you can get. You may not make it all the way, but it's a good exercise. And, honestly, like I said, this is about 2 hours worth of work for a tool that I think is quite useful. I want to share with you guys. Hopefully you find it useful too. And feel free, we can start building on this together. I'm not a big open source, I'm going to manage a whole community of people, but if you guys want to throw some pull requests, this is more of a fun example thing. And then I'll just kind of break off some releases when new stuff comes in that's interesting. But for the most part, I want to keep this simple. I'm not going to add a bunch of fluff and a bunch of things on there. It's going to do one thing. It's going to do it well. And it's a thing that I think is kind of useful. So anyway, that's Pacemax. Hope you guys found this useful. Subscribe. I'm kind of hinting around the fact that I am working a little bit on a open source, and we've been talking about this open source. Oh, where is it? Maybe it's not even up here. Anyway, I have an open source coding agent that I have been working on in the background, and I'll have a video out probably either Tuesday or Wednesday. Going through, and I'll live code that one instead of just giving a snapshot here. So I started a video on Friday. Actually, just got too late, and the kids came home and were screaming. So I was like, I can't do this. I'll do it on Monday or Tuesday and share that out. But I'm excited about that. I think there's a lot we can learn from going through first principles, building up an AI coding agent from scratch. That we're going to start off with the CLI. We're going to make it into hopefully a VS Code clone, hence the name Fork, F-O-R-Q. And then maybe we'll do some improvements and we'll see where we can get with something that I think is going to be kind of a neat project. So it's going to take a few weeks, but if you guys want to follow that, subscribe. I think it's up there. And I'll see you guys soon.